From players' worst nightmares becoming reality, to fans humiliating themselves. These are the 10 most embarrassing moments in golf ever recorded. Starting off with number 10. Not every unforgettable blunder at the Masters comes from a player. In 2019, a security guard at Augusta National became an accidental star, and not for the best reasons. The incident took place on the 14th hole, a critical point in Tiger Woods' round as he was making his way out of the trees on the left side of the fairway. Woods, having just nailed an impressive shot, was moving along, fully in the zone. But then the unexpected happened. The guard, intending to protect Woods from an enthusiastic crowd, rushed to hold fans back and accidentally slipped on the damp grass. What was supposed to be a quick block turned into a dramatic slide straight toward Woods, his foot nearly colliding with one of the world's most famous golfers. In the heat of the moment, fans could barely believe what they were witnessing. Imagine a crunching tackle more suited to soccer than a golf green. Vinnie Jones himself would have probably given an approving nod to the guard's unintentional move. And let's not forget the split-second horror as people held their breath, hoping the legend wouldn't get hurt. Luckily, Woods emerged unscathed, only needing a moment to shake off the surprise. As the guard awkwardly recovered, Woods simply got back to business and went on to win the Masters that year. Looks like that guard's best save of the day was not injuring Tiger. Too bad not everyone has that amount of luck. Which brings us to number 9. For a player at the top of their game, nothing's more deflating than watching a single hole unravel the entire round. That's exactly what happened to world number 1 Nelly Korda during the opening round of the US Women's Open in May 2024. Standing on the par 3 12th hole at Lancaster Country Club, she takes her stance, swings confidently, and sends the ball flying toward the green. But instead of finding safe ground, her tee shot lands smack in the bunker. No big deal, right? A quick up and down should do it. Yet, as she approaches her next shot, it's clear the bunker's got other plans. Her escape shot doesn't quite make it, setting her up for a tougher attempt. And then, as if on cue, the real trouble begins. Her ball finds the water hazard. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, with each splash marking a descent into golf agony. Stroke by stroke, Korda's score climbs painfully higher until, unbelievably, she taps in for a brutal 10 on a single par 3 hole. Watching the top-ranked player struggle so much on one hole was a shock for fans and fellow players alike, and it placed her a painful 12 shots behind the leader for that round. Her final score of 80 was an uncharacteristic number for Korda, who's known for her steady, powerful game. Guess that's one way to make a splash, just maybe not the one Korda had in mind. From one nightmare to another, here's number 8 on the list. Just a year after his incredible 2019 Masters victory, Tiger Woods returned to Augusta in 2020. But this time, he faced a moment that no one, especially not a 5-time Masters champion, could have expected. Here's what happened. It was the infamous 12th hole, right in the heart of Amen Corner, a stretch that has crushed many Masters' dreams. As Woods lined up his shot, Rays Creek waited ominously in front, almost daring him to take it on. He took his swing, and the ball drifted left, landing straight in the water. A mistake, but one he could recover from. Woods reset for his next shot, determined to put it behind him. But shockingly, his ball found the creek again. A third attempt? Same outcome. 3 times in a row. Woods watched as his ball plunged into the creek's magnetic pull, with each splash amplifying the tension among fans and broadcasters. On his 4th attempt, Woods finally cleared the creek, only for his ball to find the bunker. After a tricky escape from the sand, he finally got onto the green, but only after 8 strokes. A couple of putts later, he walked off the 12th with a 10, his highest single-hole score in Masters history. Amen Corner doesn't play favorites. Even Tiger wasn't safe from its curse that day, coming in with lucky number 7. So, in the world of golf, you expect to see a lot of wild swings and emotional ups and downs, but rarely do you expect an actual bird, or, in this case, a Birdman, to show up mid-game. This unusual scene unfolded during the 2012 US Open, when Webb Simpson was just about to secure his victory. Out of nowhere, a fan dressed in a strange bird costume suddenly rushed onto the green. With his wings flapping and an odd costume meant to resemble a bird, this intruder made quite an impression, interrupting the prestigious event with his strange antics. As the Birdman flapped his wings and pranced around on the green, the crowd didn't quite know how to react. Security, on the other hand, moved quickly, tackling the fan and removing him from the scene. Webb Simpson, known for his calm and friendly demeanor, handled the situation with humor. As the Birdman was taken away, Simpson couldn't resist cracking a joke. "Enjoy the jail cell, pal." With that one-liner, Simpson sealed the moment as an unforgettable bit of US Open history. In a sport where quiet focus is key, this random dash of comedy was like a breath of fresh air. Or should we say, a bird in the bunker? Next up, number 6. The Masters is known for testing the nerves of even the greatest golfers, but in 2016, Ernie Els faced a nightmare that no golfer could prepare for. A moment so surreal it felt like Augusta itself was out to get him. It was the very first hole of his round, usually a time for setting the tone and finding a rhythm. Els, a seasoned veteran with major titles under his belt, approached the green with confidence, ready to open his tournament on the right foot. But then, something unusual happened. He lined up his putt, likely visualizing an easy start. But as his putter made contact, something felt off. His ball rolled toward the hole, only to veer just wide. Surprised but undeterred, he set up again, expecting a simple tap-in. Yet the ball missed again, and again. Each attempt seemed to defy him more, turning a straightforward putt into a slow-motion disaster. By the time he finally sank the putt, Els had taken an unthinkable 6 strokes just a hole out, recording a painful 10 on that opening par 4. A brutal sight for fans, as the dreaded yips seemed to grip him in front of Augusta's quiet, watching crowd. Moral of the story? When the yips show up, even a champion like Ernie is in for a wild ride. Moving on to number 5, and we're at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. The one tournament where golf meets a party and where rowdy fans can become just as famous as the players themselves. But in 2018, one fan took it to a whole new level. Jordan Spieth, known for his razor-sharp focus, was lining up his shot, shutting out the typical cheers and buzz around the Phoenix Open's infamous 16th hole. But then, out of nowhere, one fan, clearly deep into the party part of the event, started heckling, his slurred shouts loud enough to break Spieth's concentration. As Spieth settled into his backswing, the fan's drunken voice grew louder and more obnoxious, stumbling into a territory that was less cheering and more cringeworthy. The heckling became so relentless that security finally had to step in, escorting the very intoxicated fan out as he staggered, shouting on his way. It was a relief for Spieth and everyone around, though the fan's sloppy exit was a hard-to-miss reminder of what too far looks like, even at the Phoenix Open. And here we are at number 4. It's 2018, and Sergio Garcia, the defending Masters champion, stepped onto Augusta's 15th hole with confidence, hoping to carry on the magic from his 2017 victory. But in a matter of moments, that confidence would crumble, and his round would unravel into one of the most jaw-dropping meltdowns Augusta had ever seen. A scene so painful that fans couldn't decide whether to watch or look away. So, what the heck happened? Well, the 15th hole, known as Firethorn, is usually a chance for birdies, maybe even an eagle. But it comes with Augusta's trademark risks. Garcia's first approach shot looked good, until it spun back, trickling down the slope and plunging into the water. Frustrated but undeterred, Garcia dropped another ball, determined to make it count. He took his shot, and yet again, it hit the green, only to roll back down and splash into the hazard. Now visibly rattled, he tried a third time, then a fourth. Each time the ball seemed cursed, stubbornly finding its way back to the water. By the 5th shot, it was no longer just frustrating, it was painful to watch. Fans around the green shifted uneasily as one of the best golfers in the world battled a hole that had turned into his worst nightmare. Finally, after 5 balls had taken the same watery fate, Garcia managed to land one safely on the green. But by then, the damage was done. A series of agonizing putts later, he tapped in for a staggering 13 on the hole, tying the record for the highest single-hole score in Masters history. It wasn't just a bad hole, it was a complete collapse on the very course where he had been a hero just a year earlier. Sliding into our top 3, and here we have an absolute embarrassing moment from the 2019 PGA Championship. A reminder that sometimes, it's not just the golfers who steal the show. But before we show you the top 3, please subscribe to our channel and join us in our journey to 10,000 subs before the holidays. It was a tense moment on the 16th hole at Bethpage Black, with players battling the notorious course. But suddenly, All eyes turned to the edge of the green, where one fan, clearly enjoying a few too many drinks, wobbled a bit too close to the action. He tried to steady himself, but in a clumsy misstep, he lost his balance and toppled straight into a greenside bunker. Laughter rippled through the crowd as the fan tried to climb out, only to slip and slide down. With each failed attempt, the fan's alcohol-fueled determination grew, and he continued his struggle, slipping, sliding, and trying again, much to the crowd's delight. Finally, after a few more tries and growing cheers from onlookers, security stepped in, helping him make a not-so-graceful exit from the bunker. Moving on to number 2. We're back at Augusta National, known for its challenging holes and unforgiving water hazards, but for Japanese golfer Tsuneyuki Nakajima, it became the site of one of the most famous collapses in golf history. The par 5 13th, with its notorious Rays Creek, was a challenge Nakajima aimed to conquer with a routine approach. But as his ball found the water, he faced a choice: take a penalty and move on, or try to recover his shot. Nakajima went for the latter, and that's when things went south. His first recovery attempt failed, sending the ball back into Rays Creek. Frustrated but undeterred, he tried again and again. The more he tried to free himself from the hazard, the deeper he sank into Augusta's trap. Each swing only led to more penalty strokes, and the once manageable recovery snowballed into a full-blown disaster. By the time he finally escaped Rays Creek, Nakajima had taken an excruciating 13 strokes on the hole, tying the Masters record for the worst score on a single hole. The unforgettable scene, where his persistence clashed with Augusta's brutal defenses, earned him a nickname that would haunt his career: the Sands of Nakajima. Once again, Augusta had claimed another victim, etching Nakajima's name into the history of Rays Creek forever. And finally, we're at number 1 of the most embarrassing moments in golf history. We're in 2011 and Kevin Na approached the par 4 9th hole at the Valero Texas Open with confidence. But within minutes, he'd find himself trapped in one of the most brutal, unforgettable nightmares a golfer could face. What followed was a humiliating battle he would later call his walk of shame. So, here's what happened. Kevin approached the 9th hole, a par 4, ready to make his shot. But as his club connected with the ball, his tee shot veered wildly off course, diving into the tangled Texas rough. A small misstep, perhaps, but nothing a pro like Kevin couldn't handle. He walked up to his ball, nestled deep in the brush, determined to play his way out and move on. But as he took his next swing, things went from bad to worse. His club snagged on branches and tall grass, causing a mishit that barely nudged the ball forward. He repositioned and swung again. Another tangle in the rough, then another. Fans around the hole watched as Kevin hacked at the ball, but each shot only seemed to dig him further into trouble. You could see the frustration building on his face, but he wasn't giving up until the fateful moment when he swung at the ball, missed, and realized it was still in midair. To avoid a penalty, he had to take another swing at it, but his struggle only seemed to intensify with each shot. At this point, he'd lost track of his strokes and called his caddy over, asking for help to keep count. The crowd, normally reserved, was now murmuring and gasping, watching in disbelief as his shot count kept climbing. Even Kevin could feel the surreal nature of it, battling not just the course but also the creeping sense of helplessness as he continued to hack his way through the rough, 1 inch at a time. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Na got the ball back in play, moved it down the fairway, and made his way toward the green. But by then, the damage was catastrophic. When he finally holed out, his score on that single par 4 had soared to an unthinkable 16 strokes, the highest in Texas Open history and one of the worst ever recorded on a par 4 in PGA Tour play. Afterward, Kevin jokingly called it his walk of shame, bringing humor to an experience most would want to forget. Oh, and now you're here. We have another great video right in the middle of the screen. Enjoy!